Good afternoon, everybody. This is an incredible afternoon that we take the time to honor one of our senior citizens that contributed so much to the Department of Senior Affairs and the city of Albuquerque. This is somebody that we want to remember with good heart and good mind for all the contributions and time spent on our advisory council and just volunteering consistently to our department. I had the pleasure of talking to Miss Armijo earlier and telling me that at first he was kind of not really interested in coming to the seniors department because he just didn't want to be around all those old people. But as time went on, he really did love this department and contributed so much to us, and we're so grateful for that. This afternoon, I want to introduce, first off, our Mayor, Richard J. Berry, to start us off on our wonderful dedication today.
Thanks. Thank you. Well, thanks, everybody. Thank you, Georgia, so much. Let's give Georgia a hand. She just does such a wonderful job. Her and her staff. We just really pride ourselves on being a great place to be a senior. And there's two new seniors in town. My mom and dad moved into town last weekend. Dad's 78, mom's 29, plus a few years, whatever that is. But it's just great, and one of the things that I told them when we tried to talk them into moving to Albuquerque was the fact that we have great volunteers, we have great people, folks like Joe, that really reach out and make sure that Albuquerque does continue to be, really, I think, one of the premier cities in the country to be a senior, and we do that in lots of ways. And so today, to honor Joe with the dedication of this facility in his name, I think it's just it's fitting. It's right. It's just the right thing to do. Special individuals certainly really reached out in the community. I was talking to Mary Lou about his days in the WAC, and I was a WAC athlete back in the 1980s. I didn't play football, so I wouldn't have known Joe from those experiences. But just to have somebody in our community that really lived every day to his fullest, was exceptional at what he did in so many different ways, and then to come back and to give back to the seniors, I think is really a neat deal. We know that Joe volunteered for about 10 years or more, actually, right around that level. And we know that we have others in our community that do the same thing. Every year, for those of you that come to the breakfast where we celebrate our senior volunteers, Joe is a great leader in that group, and these folks dedicate 200,000 plus hours a year. In addition, 263,000, I think, was the number, was last year between RSVP, foster grandparents, senior companions, our home services. And if you add all of that up, that's almost $6 million worth of volunteer time in our communities. And we just need folks like Joe to go out there and really promote that, because leaders will attract other leaders to come in, volunteers will attract other volunteers to come in. And just last month, at this particular facility, we had over 3,300 visits by over 1,000 individuals in our community. And that's really a testament to wellness, to staying strong in our senior years. And so I just couldn't be more thrilled to be here with Councilor Sanchez today, and with our entire Senior Affairs Department to dedicate this wonderful facility. It really is a neat facility. Really adds value to our community, but to dedicate that to Joe Armijo and the great work that he did. And Mary Lou, we're so honored that you'd be here today. We want to thank you as much, because if you're anything like my wife Maria, putting up with Joe and putting up with me over the years, he probably should be naming the building after you. But anyway, we're so glad that she says that's true. And if Maria was here, we were at Barella's coffee shop having beans and chili over lunch. She'd tell you the same thing. She'd say her name, she should be the one that gets the awards. But listen, I'm just really glad to be here. So thanks everybody for coming out and celebrating a great man, a great facility, a great department, and a great city. So thanks for having me today. Yeah, and we've got City Councilor Ken Sanchez with us today as well, and he's going to say a few words, and then we're going to have some remarks by the Armijo family. So, Councilor Ken Sanchez.
Thank you, Mayor. What a great honor to be standing here today on behalf of one of my mentors, a leader in our community, and a leader in this country. Joe Armijo served in World War II and he served our country well. He also served his family well, raising 11 children. And what I remember most growing up as a young child is going over to Pancho's restaurant, and the entire family worked in the serving line down at Pancho's. But we've heard the saying, be all that you can be. You know, Joe was all that he could be for his family, for his country, for his community, you know, being involved with the senior citizens community, and Mary Lou being right there with them along with her children. It was just impressive to watch. You know, he was one of the leaders on Albuquerque's west side. He was my insurance agent also when I got my first car. Of course, I didn't pay for the car insurance. My dad paid for the car insurance, but he was always fair to the people of this community. He served them well. But we were so blessed to have Joe Armijo as part of this community. He was an educator. He was on many, many boards, councils, the senior citizen board, and just gave so much back to the community. You know, they came almost every morning to Los Volcanes Senior Center to mingle with the seniors and see what could be done to improve this community center. And that's why we stand here today with this beautiful, this is a great facility here, the exercise room, which is available to myself because anybody that's over 50 years old is allowed to come here. And unfortunately I don't. As a diabetic, I should be coming here more often. But you know, we are just so blessed in this community to have people that just give so much of their time and give back each and every day. And Joe was one of those individuals. We dedicated this senior center and this fitness center to Joe back in November of 2009. But we never were able to get the sign up. So fortunately, we get to celebrate this event not once, but twice. But it's kind of cold out here, so I'm not going to make my remarks too much longer. But again, thank you, Mary Berry, for all of your work. Georgia, when I came to you, and it's taken some time. You know, I was getting very impatient. I said, we've got to get this sign up. We've waited a long time. But I really want to thank Georgia Brasher and her staff for all of their work. You know, we can't do things alone. It's people that make things happen. And we've got a great team of personnel that work for Senior Affairs. And Georgia has done a remarkable job with the support of Mayor Berry. And Mayor Berry, thank you very much for coming out today and being part of this very special event for the West Side and this community. I personally would also like to thank one of our community leaders who is here today, the former president of the West Side Coalition, Dan Sedano, is also here with us today. Thank you, Dan. And my brother and I were both working today, and we're busy today at work, but he said he wanted to come out because he's been part of the Armijo family also. We feel like we're part of the Armijo family. We feel like we're family because we've all grown up together. I went to school.
Graduated together.
No, Roberta and I graduated together.
Roberta was sitting here. She didn't notice that we traded.
But that was only yesterday. Again, I would like to invite Mrs. Armijo up to come and say a few words, or a couple of members of the family to come up and say a few words on behalf of Joe. And again, I want to tell everybody have a wonderful Thanksgiving. We have so much to be grateful for in this community. And I know you're going to be missing your husband, you're going to be missing your dad dearly, and the grandchildren are going to be missing their grandfather, but they have something to be very, very proud of because this will be a legacy that they will be able to continue. Ms. Armijo, would you please come up?
Thank you, Kim. Well, I want to say that Kim gave a lot of credit to Joe on the fitness center, but he had a lot to do with it. He had a lot to do with raising the funds and staying after it, and the architects, and you did a lot of work on this, and I give you a lot of the credit, yes. There was a time when they didn't have enough money, just wasn't going to be enough money to build the center. They needed, I think, 265,000 more. They were short. And we came in, and the manager that morning came over to Joe's. He says, because Joe's been working on it. He said, Joe, we're not going to have enough money. We're short. Joe said, give me the phone. So I think he called you. Anyway, he got on the phone, and after a while he came back. He said, you've got it. We've got it. We've got the money. And even I was impressed. He was a very good husband. He was a good father. He was a hard worker. He provided for us very well. When we were first having our children, he had to work 2 and 3 jobs, and he did. Like the officiating, he officiated football, basketball, baseball, and he even tried boxing. He didn't like boxing, just to keep us going while he was going to college and getting started. And so the family was #1 with Joe. And then when we opened the restaurants, people have asked me, well, with all those children, well, how'd you do it? I said, I took them with me. Like you said, yeah. And I want to thank the Ken and the mayor and Georgia for this dedication. And our family is very happy and very proud that you've done this for Joe. And I know he'd be smiling, accepting it, because he was a big smiler. And my husband Joe was a man's man. He just really was. Men just gravitated to him in friendship and advice. He used to come to him for advice, and he loved you very much.
Thank you.
Yes. And that's it. That's all I have to say right now.
3, 2, 1.